After 5 years of 18-hour coding marathons, living off Red Bull and reheated takeout, I finally reached the finish line. My software startup had just been acquired by Google. For the first time since my 20s, I had the financial freedom to take a breath. I didn't want a yacht. I didn't want a Lambo. I wanted peace. So I bought a 2-acre slice of heaven in a private enclave called Oak Creek Estates, tucked deep in the pine-covered hills. It had everything. A 40-foot infinity pool, panoramic views, and most importantly, dash silence. No. Slack pings. No meetings. No chaos, just me, the wind, and the pool. But I didn't realize something. Paradise is never truly empty. Sometimes it hides predators in polos and HOA titles. Week 1, the DREM, the first few days were perfect. My mornings started with laps in the pool as the sun rose over the tree line. Afternoons were spent sketching new startup ideas. Evenings, wine, a hammock, and the sound of crickets. This place wasn't just a retreat, it was therapy. Until it... WASN. The first sign of TROBLE, it started with the smallest of disturbances. The lounge chairs by the pool were out of place, wet footprints where none should be. Few cigarette butts ground into the patio stone. I chalked it up to the wind. Maybe some maintenance crew wandered in. But the final straw. A used condom floating. In the skimmer basket, that's not wind. That's not random. That's a violation, and I wasn't having it. Security check, and a horrifying discovery scoured the property. No signs of forced entry, gates locked, doors secure. Then I remembered the old security camera mounted near the main Gadaloris relic the former owner installed. I didn't expect much, but what I found made my blood boil. Saturday night, 11:07 p.m. car. After car. After car. Pulling up teens and 20-somethings, at least 30 of them casually walking through my locked gate, and the one who let them in. A tall, smug guy wearing flip-flops and a backward hat, collecting cash from each person before opening the gate with a copied key or stolen code. I didn't know it yet. But that smug guy was Chad Whitman, the HOA president's son. And that night, he made at least $1,500 on what he called a private pool party. They trashed my yard, got drunk, hooked up. One dude even threw up in my pool. This wasn't teenage fun. This was organized trespassing, the LOCKDOWN. The next morning I drove straight to the hardware store and picked up an August Smart Lock Protopter. App-controlled real-time alerts, HD camera integration. If someone so much as breathed near my gate, I'd know. I installed it myself, posted fresh, no trespassing signs, and set up remote monitoring. Problem solved, right? Wrong. The Quran, RRFIS. 2 hours after installing the lock, I heard a banshee scream at my front door. I opened it to find a woman in oversized sunglasses, platinum blonde hair, and the demeanor of a soap opera villain. Barbara Whitman, HOA president. This monstrosity on your gate is a direct violation of community aesthetics. She barked, she shoved a printed violation notice in my face and demanded I remove the lock within 48 hours or face $500 daily fines. I tried to show her the footage, but she wouldn't hear it. I am the president of this community, she hissed. You don't? Just install unauthorized technology and disrupt the visual harmony of Oak Creek Estates. Then she stormed off, leaving a trail of cheap perfume and threats. The backstory: I didn't can OW my neighbor Arthur. An elderly man with more wisdom than words came over with a loaf of banana bread and said, "Welcome to Barb's kingdom." Explained everything. Barbara used to be a real estate mogul until her big Project Dragon Plaza imploded in scandal, lawsuits, and bankruptcy. She lost almost everything, except her house and HOA presidency, and Chad college dropout. Kicked out for stealing a professor's laptop. Now he lives off mommy's power trips and your pool. Arthur leaned in. That pool? It's been their side hustle for years. $50 a head, sometimes more. They've been profiting off your backyard. I was stunned. This wasn't trespassing. It was an underground business. The fake 911 CALL days passed. No incidents. Till Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m., I was making coffee when my phone buzzed. Gate tampering detected. I opened the live feed. There was Chad with 3 friends, slamming his fists on the smart lock. Bro, it's still locked. One wind? I told Ashley she could do her sunrise shoot here, said a girl in a bikini, shivering in the early. Then Chad did something unforgivable. He looked straight into my camera and dialed 911. Double quotes help. There's a man drowning in the neighbor's pool. He's not coming up. I can't get in because of some electronic gate. He was faking in. Emergency. I watched him act out a rescue drama, gesturing like a Broadway star. Then he high-fived his friend. The police arrived minutes later. 2 patrol cars screamed into my driveway. I met them calmly. There's no one drowning, I said. But would you like to see who made the call? They followed me to my living room where I played the footage on a 65-inch TV. They watched every second Chad kicking the gate, making the call, performing his fake panic. The senior officer's jaw clenched. This is a criminal offense. Filing a false emergency report? You're looking at jail time. Outside, the cops confronted Chad. His smirk vanished as they replayed the footage for him on my laptop screen. Stuttered, tried to backpedal, claimed it was a misunderstanding. Just then, a white Mercedes screeched into my driveway. Barbara burst out like a matriarch from a telenovela. What are you doing to my son? She screamed. The officer played the footage for her too. The color drained from her face. But she didn't apologize. Instead, she whispered to me, "You'll regret this." Oh, you think a lock makes you safe? The HOA goes unusually the next 4 days. We're pure psychological warfare. Day 1. Barbara filed a noise complaint against me for swimming quietly at 7 o'clock. Day 2. She measured my grass with a ruler. It was 3.5 inches tall. HOA limit, 3. She posted photos online titled, "Some people think rules don't apply to them." Day 3. She accused me of surveilling children. His cameras record OUR families, she wrote. Comments rolled in. Creepy. My kids don't feel safe. 4. A legal notice. T.S. The criminal trespasser was suing me for $50,000 in emotional damages. His claim? No. I harassed him and defamed his character. The breaking pow and teeth that night, I sat by my pool in the dark. For the first time, I felt alone. Neighbors wouldn't talk to me. Kids whispered and pointed. I had money. I had cameras, but I didn't have peace. Maybe I should just remove the lock, I thought. Then Arthur arrived. He handed me coffee and a file folder. I think you're going to want to see this, said Paradise. Pool Exasield Seville. The folder contained screenshots of a popular Instagram account. At Paradise Pool Exclusive over 5,000 followers. Photos of wild parties, selfies, bottles, bikini shots, and in every single post. My backyard, my pool, my address, the bio. Oak Creek's premier private pool experience DM for bookings. It had been running for 3 years. They were making thousands per weekend from illegal bookings. $50 general entry, $1.75 VIP Saturdays, $200 private shoots on Sundays. Even Barbara gave private swim lessons for $100 hour. Spoiler, no lessons were happening. I did the math. Over 3 years, they made over $600,000. From my pool, the final plan coming so on that night, I backed up every post, every video. Yes. Every dollar made. I was done playing defense. The HOA war wasn't over. It was just getting started. If you've ever been harassed by a corrupt HOA, drop your city in the comments. Part 2 drops next week. The takedown is coming after discovering the disturbing truth behind Paradise Pool Exclusive.
I didn't
sleep for 48 hours. Not because I was scared, but because I was planning. Barbara Whitman, president of Oak Creek Estates, HOA, and her 21-year-old son Chad weren't just rude neighbors or entitled Karens. They were criminals. They had built an entire underground party business charging teens and influencers hundreds of dollars to throw wild pool events on my private property. They'd been doing this for years, earning more than $600,000 behind my back. That night, as I sat by the pool they had profited from, I made myself a promise. They will pay, and not just emotionally, not just reputationally. They will pay in the way that hurts most, legally and financially. Step 1. The paper trail spent the next week. Acting like a man possessed, I downloaded every single post from the Paradise Pool Instagram account. I matched dates and times with the security footage from my SmartLocks camera. Each time-stamped clip showed people entering my property without permission. Many of them drunk, loud, and destructive. I printed screenshots of Chad collecting cash at the gate, Barbara counting money in the backyard, teens doing paid photo shoots tagged with my exact GPS address. Also pulled metadata from every image posted online, gate ads, timestamps, and XF data that clearly placed each photo at my property. But the crown jewel. One clip showed Barbara herself saying to Chad, "This month I'm taking 80%. If you don't like it, find another pool." That one, quote, proved everything. Ownership, profit, illegal business operations. I had my case. Now it was time to weaponize it. Step 2. The IRS. Let us get one thing straight. The IRS doesn't play. So I anonymously submitted a detailed tax fraud report to the IRS tip line. Included in the file were all social media ads offering private pool sessions, calculated estimated income per week, month, year footage of Barbara collecting unreported cash evidence of liquor sales to minors. I ended it with a single bolded sentence. This illegal business has generated over $600,000 in undeclared cash income, alcohol sales, and potentially endangered minors on a residential property. None of it has been reported to the IRS. I hit send and waited. Step 3. Legal strike. The civil LOSUIT mine next. Step was filing a civil lawsuit for trespassing, property damage, emotional distress, illegal commercial activity on private property, violation of my right to peaceful enjoyment of land, defamation and harassment via HOA, misuse. My attorney, Rebecca Langford, a fierce, no-nonsense woman with a background in HOA litigation, was the perfect ally. When I showed her the evidence, her eyes lit up. "This is slam dunk level," she said. "We're going after everything: their personal assets, the HOA's reserve funds, and any accomplices." We filed in county court and requested an emergency injunction to prevent the HOA from issuing further fines, threats, or accessing my property. The judge granted it in 48 hours. Now, Barbara couldn't touch me, and the court would soon touch her. Step 4. The community, FLIPS. At first, neighbors were cold. They believed Barbara's lies, that I was surveilling kids, that I was destroying the neighborhood aesthetic, that I was a tech bro who refused to share. But truth has a way of rising, and once Arthur, my elderly neighbor who had lost his granddaughter to one of Chad's parties, shared his side of the story in a viral neighborhood Facebook post, the tide turned. His post included a screenshot of the Paradise Pool Instagram with my address, a hospital bill from the night his granddaughter was nearly drowned. The quote Barbara told him, "Maybe your granddaughter should learn how to hold her. Liquor." That single post got 200 shares and 300 plus angry comments. Neighbors started realizing that Barbara and Chad weren't protecting the community. They were using it, and people were furious. Step 5. The day court began, the courtroom was packed. Reporters were there. Local news had picked up the story. Tech entrepreneur sues HOA president over illegal $600,000 pool party business. Barbara tried to play the role of innocent victim. Chad wore a cheap suit, 2 sizes too big, and looked like he hadn't slept. My attorney presented the timeline. Video after video, photo after photo. The moment that sealed it. A clip of Chad kicking the smart lock and calling 911 to report a fake drowning. The judge stared at the screen and said flatly, "This is criminal. This is not a civil dispute. This is fraud, harassment, trespass, and abuse of emergency services." Barbara tried to interrupt. Her lawyer fumbled with paperwork, but it was over. The judge ruled a $250,000 judgment in my favor for damages and legal. A court-ordered audit of the HOA's finances. Barbara and Chad were banned from serving on any HOA board again. A referral to the district attorney for criminal prosecution. A Formal restraining order, protecting me and my property, but the biggest blow? The judge froze the HOA's bank account pending the results of the audit, and that was the beginning of the end. Step 6. The IRS shows you P2 months later. I saw 2 black government SUVs parked outside. It's Barbara's house, IRS agents, suits, briefcases. They stayed for 3 hours. Neighbors watched from windows as boxes of receipts, cash logs, and Barbara's laptop were hauled out by evening. The news was out. Barbara was under federal investigation for tax evasion. Is operating an unlicensed business and providing alcohol to minors. The Paradise Pool Instagram was deleted. Within hours, too late. Everything had been archived. The IRS had it all. The HOA, COLAP, COS financial records were made public. The fallout was nuclear. It turned out Barbara had diverted HOA maintenance funds to renovate her backyard, used HOA landscaping crews to maintain her side. Of the neighborhood-written personal checks to her self-labeled community event reimbursements, the residents voted unanimously to dissolve the current board file for reformation under new leadership ban Barbara, Chad, and their inner circle from attending future meetings, and guess who they voted in as interim board advisor? Arthur. Epilogue. The new Oak CRE K6, months later. The neighborhood transformed. People who used to cross the street to avoid me now stopped to chat. Families thanked me for standing up for the silent majority. Arthur planted flowers along the front gate. The HOA restructured its bylaws to protect homeowner rights, limit board power, and prohibit any HOA board member from handling finances alone. As for Chad, he was sentenced to 6 months probation and 100 hours of community service, and Barbara. She faced federal charges, a 6-figure IRS bill, and a permanently tarnished name. She sold her home quietly and disappeared. The gate code was changed. The cameras stayed up in every evening. As the sun set over my infinity pool, I remembered, the war one fought not just for my property, for every homeowner who's ever been bullied by a petty tyrant with a clipboard. Final message to viewers: if your HOA is corrupt, document everything, protect your rights. Fight back smart, because sometimes the best revenge isn't loud, it's legal. Drop your city in the comments if you've faced HOA helots. Expose the worst together, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild, real estate revenge stories coming soon.